Hey there everyone, it's Jeff the IT guy. How's it going? I hope you're doing great. This is going to be our intro video into our tutorial on C. And so this is something I said I was going to do. I was going to do a tutorial for C. And I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to create a Udemy class from these tutorials. So what we're going to see here is we're going to have, this is more like a pared down version of what will go on Udemy. So this is episode 1, and in this episode we're going to look at what we need so that you can follow the tutorial. So there'll be, what IDE you need, which is an integrated development environment, and then we're going to get it set up, and we're going to talk about just some boilerplate stuff, what needs to happen, so that you're able to follow along and hopefully learn something. So this is just going to be an intro. So don't pay attention to the code in the background right now. You don't need to worry about that. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to download, it's called Dev C++. You can use Visual Studio. It's a little bit more difficult to get set up for C and C++. So this is Dev C++. It's made specifically, like I said, for C and C++. It's got a compiler built into it. It's free. It is fast. It's simple to use. So go ahead. You can download it from the link in the description, and you just install it, and then you're ready to go. And so then once you're ready to go, we will go ahead and we will switch over to our IDE. And this is what it looks like. I am using, this is called the Twilight theme. Not from the movies or the books, but just so it's easier. So it's got a black background, and then there's some colors up front, white, things of that nature, just so that it's a little bit easier to see. And so to do that, to turn it on, what you need to do is you will go to your tools, editor options, your font. I was wrong. It's gone. Colors. You go to colors, and then you select your theme. And then it will be Twilight. There's also some other ones that you can choose from if you want to. Like it gives you, like this is the GSS Hacker one. We'll turn it on. It looks pretty cool too. So I do like the Twilight a little bit better. So once you get your theme set up, if it's not necessary, you go over to File. You're going to hit New. You can choose a project if you want to, or you can choose a source file. Just do a source file for this. You don't have to do a project. That will create a different kind of folder structure than what we need for this. So if you hit New, source file, or Control N, you're going to have a blank file like it is right here in the IDE. And so to get started, I'm just going to walk through some things in this first lesson, and then in the next lesson we'll build upon that, and then we'll have a lab, and then we'll go into the next lesson and things of that nature. So with all of your C programs that you write, you're going to start out at the top with what you're going to include. And these are libraries. Libraries that you're going to include. And this opens up different classes and things that you can then do inside of your program that aren't included, I guess you could say, from a base. So you've got different things. So for different things, you're going to have to include different libraries. And so for ours, this first one, we're just going to include, it's called stdio, and you put .h. And what that stands for is it's just the standard InputOutput library. And so that's going to include that into your C source file so that when it compiles with that library, and you have access to different functions that you can then use inside of your program. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our main class. And typically whenever you see programs like this, these tutorials, it's just going to be int main, whatever. And so we can talk about what int is, and we'll talk about all of this. And so you're going to say int main, then brackets, and then curly braces. And so what happens inside of this int main, this main class is actually what's going to get compiled and what you'll see on in your console. So we'll do int main, right, and then we can just do the obligatory hello world, right? So we'll talk about this a little bit. We're going to do what's called printf, and so this printf, this is a print statement to the console. It's included in the standard IO library, and then we've got our braces here. Inside of it, we've got double quotes, and then we've got hello world, and then after it, we've got a semicolon. And so the semicolon, it denotes that this is the end of it. This is required at the end of most lines of code in C to tell the compiler, hey, you know, this is here. This is part of the syntax, right? And so, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do system. We'll pause and then return 0. And so I'll go through this. So this is telling your system that it's going to pause, and it's going to pause, and it's going to wait for an input, and it's just, you know, you hitting enter or whatever. It's just telling it to pause, and then return 0 is there's nothing returning, whatever. To execute this, you're going to go to compile and run, and then you can save it. That's whatever you want. We'll save it, and then if there's any issues like this, it's going to say system whatever. For some reason it doesn't want to use system. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. But we can just go ahead and get rid of that, and we'll hit compile and run, and you can see right there, hello world. So if you followed this, you have done the obligatory hello world in C. So welcome to a group of great people known as C developers. Now that you can print out hello world. And so that's the first thing. Now that you are at this point, you've got a little bit about what you need to know. You know how to download your IDE, how to change the theme of it, and you've learned a little bit about what this int main is, this main class. You've learned that you can put in system pause, and it should work. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. It just depends. We've talked about this return value. We will talk about returns even more in depth in other tutorials, and you've learned how to print out hello world using this printf statement here. This printf, this is the printf method, function, whatever you want to call it, and then hello world, and then there you go, some syntax. So stay tuned. In our next lesson, we're going to talk a little bit more about the standard input output. So we're going to look a little bit more at these print statements. We're going to look at what's called escape strings and how to print different things. We're going to talk a lot more about the input output of C, and then after that we'll do a lab, and then we will go even further down into different things in C. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you get started in your journey to become a C developer. Thank you.